Hey everybody, Rosemeadow here, and welcome to part 5 of my sweet Sachiko's Hysteric Birthday Bash Let's Play. In the last episode, we finished up the quiz challenge, and I didn't do so well. Got a couple of wrong ends, but eventually we made it through, and now we are getting into the next chapter, chapter 4, I believe. So hopefully it will be a little bit easier than the last one. So let's go ahead, let's crack into it, and let's see what we have in store next. All right, we're back to the creepy classrooms with love from the heart of the school? Question mark. She's always in a good mood. There's something up with this girl. I don't trust her. Satoshi and the others nervously examined their surroundings. With him were Naomi, Ayumi, Yuka, Misue, Satsuki, and Toko for a total of 7 people. Though they'd just been in the Heavenly Host Elementary Auditorium a moment ago, they suddenly all found themselves standing in Classroom 1A. And none among them could hide their anxiety. Great observation, Satoshi. We were brought here to do something. Yeah, Toko's like, I'm not supposed to be here. It's like she's just kind of the odd one out. It's like when you're putting groups together for a school assignment, you know, you gotta do group projects and there's just that random person where it's like kind of an odd number, so you just kind of stick a random person in with a random group. Yuka, who had only just noticed Satoshi was here with her, came bounding over. Yay, Yuka.
Yuka!
Satoshi gave her a big hug. She's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. That's what we have to do. That's our whole thing, is find Yuka a bathroom. Then another girl interjected herself into the scene, slightly startling the siblings. I was gonna say, if she's one of Yuka's friends, why is, like, Satoshi never heard of her or met her before? I feel like she's, like, not even a person that exists in the real world, but, like, Yuka has memories of her that were maybe implanted, because, I don't know, she acts so strangely compared to everybody else. She's, like, just treating this like it's a game. Maybe it's because she knows that she, like, gets to go back to the real world afterwards, because she wasn't part of the original gang. As if to punctuate that statement, she put one hand on her lower back and another on the back of her head, thrusting her chest forward. Yeah, there's something odd about this girl. Oh boy. Funny, Satsuki's like, she seems too old, and Yuka seems like she's like 6 years old. She seems way too young to be a middle schooler. But by this time, Satsuki's eyes had already begun wandering. She was now focused on the teacher's podium at the front of the room. That certainly changed the mood. Everyone else in the room immediately stopped what they were doing and turned to face the podium as well. Hovering above it, glowing with a faint white light, was Sachiko. The lights gradually faded away, revealing the unmistakable red dress as Sachiko gracefully touched down. perfect landing, as it were.
皆さんこんにちは。サチコのヒステリックバースデーにようこそ。
今度は何をやらせる気よ。
中島さん、ここは我慢よ。文化祭を盛り上げたら帰れるから、しばらくおとなしくしてましょう。この教室に集まってもらったのは他でもありません。楽しい催し物に参加してもらうためです。
With this, she beckoned to Satsuki.
さつきちゃん、はーい。
See, yeah, she feels like one of her minions or something. Satsuki flew forward, and in the blink of an eye, she was now standing right next to Sachiko.
さつきちゃん、さちこちゃんと知り合いなの？どういうこと？さて、紹介するね。今回の催し物の司会、実況をお願いしている水原さつきちゃんです。如月学園中等部2年3組、水原さつきです。よろしくお願いします。
As the crowd stood dumbfounded, Satsuki concluded her self-introduction with an exaggerated clap and a mischievous wink.
さつきちゃん、どうして？なんでさちこちゃんのことを知ってるの？さつきちゃんからそんな話聞いたことないよ。さつきちゃん、その子怖いから。そう？一人ぼっちでずっと廃校になった小学校にいたなんてかわいそうな子じゃん。さつきちゃんは何も知らないんだ。ここがどんなに怖いところか。さちこちゃんが何をしてきたのか。だったらしょうがないかも。でもさつきちゃんだったら全てを知っててもこのテンションだったりするかも。さっきさちこさんに頼まれちゃって。まあ私話すの好きだし、やってもいいかなって。
怖くないの？廃校だよ、ここ。
廃校を舞台にしたイベントなんて面白そうじゃないですか。文化祭なんですよね。そうだよ。今日は楽しい文化祭だからみんな楽しんでね。
Of course, you can't have a visual novel without a culture festival, even in a game like this, apparently.
何をする気なんだ？
さて、皆様にやっていただくのは天神小学校ハーレムスクールデイズラブラブ大作戦です。
Okay, so we're going back to the harem thing. It was kind of abandoned before. That's why Satoshi is the only boy here. Okay. For a moment, a deafening silence fell upon the room, and of course it's got all the girls who were in love with him. His sister, Naomi, Ayumi, Miss Yue? I don't think she's in love with him. No, not at all, but I just remember, like, in the last game where she was, like, had a fever and she thought that Satoshi was, like, her old high school boyfriend.
ハーレムって確か行動で幸子さんが言ってたやつ。
そうです。ハーレムです。ハーレム。
Sachiko pumped her fist excitedly.
見ての通り、可愛い女の子がたくさんいる中に、持田聡くんがたった一人。これをハーレムと言わずして何と言うか。
Satoshi looked around the room. Oh yeah, and Toko too. I forgot about her.
この場に男は俺一人。
幸子、ラブコメが見たいの。だからこの学校に来た男の子の中で一番人気のあるサトシを選んだの。それから
I think it's also he's the most blank slate character as well.
こうなったの。
The one with the least amount of personality.
私はあの人のことなんて知らない。会ったことある？初めて会ったはずなのに、なんとなく知っている気がする。
どこかで会ったことあったっけ？見たことない制服なのになぜか胸が騒ぐ。天神小学校のどこかで会った。
落ち着いて。あなたは誰？見かけない制服ね。
私は桐崎東子、白檀高等学校の2年生です。あなたたちはみんな顔見知りかもしれないけど、私は違うわ。だから行動に返して友達と一緒にいたいの。
ダメ！ちゃんと参加しないと。すっごい恐ろしい目に遭わせちゃうよ。
Oh shit, okay.
古い木造校舎の中を必死でさまよった。出口を探して、そして信じられないようなことが起こった。そうだ、私は片思いをしていた優也に、優也の手で。
Just as Toko was about to cry out in pain and terror, the memory vividly returning to her.
終わり。怖かったでしょ？思い出したくないよね。また同じ目に遭いたくないよね。もっと怖い目に遭いたくないよね。
Like, Sachiko, for the most part, she's just been acting like a kid in this game, but then you do see, like, that kind of maliciousness peek out every once in a while.
じゃあわがままはなしね。
わかった。
Satsuki, smiling perpetually through this whole ordeal, continued with her speech as if none of this even ever happened.
では参加者の紹介をしますね。まずは我らがハーレムキング、如月学園高等部2年9組持田聡くん。
あ、どうもよろしく。
そしてハーレムを彩る美女たちの紹介です。まずは本命登場、中島直美さんです。如月学園高等部2年9組、聡くんとはずっとクラスメイト。これは運命か？
ちょっとやめてよ。ただの腐れ縁ってだけよ。
そして同じく同級生、如月学園高等部2年9組の委員長、篠崎あゆみさん。
よろしくお願いします。
霊感が強くおまじないが大好き、そんなエキセントリックな魅力を持つあゆみさんの奮闘ぶりに期待です。
エキセントリック。
そして大人の部からは副担任の先生が登場。危ない放課後、宍戸結衣先生23歳。
生徒と何かあるような言い方はやめて。
先生の自宅で2人きりなんて情報も届いております。
あれはただ私が風邪をひいて、みんな誤解よ。持田くんは届け物をしてくれただけで、私は熱があって司くんの間違えて、だから。
はいはい、次行きますよ。次最も身近な異性、生まれた時からずっと一つ屋根の下、妹の持田ゆかちゃん、如月学園中等部2年3組、お兄ちゃん大好き。そしてダークホースになるか、他校の強気な美少女が乱入、白檀高等学校2年4組、桐崎東子さん。
どうも。
じゃあそろそろ始めましょうかね。まずは簡単にルール説明です。サトシくんへのラブラブアピールを女性陣にしていただき、最終的にサトシくんに選ばれた人が優勝ということになります。
ちょっと何よそれ。アピールってそんな。生徒にラブラブアピールなんかできません。
はい、ブーイングはお断りです。いいじゃないですか、こんな小さな女の子が寂しがってるんですから、楽しいお誕生日にしてあげましょうよ。楽しいイベントが目白押し、
Satsuki was waving her arms wildly as if to jumpstart the party, but in response she was met with nothing more than dumbfounded silence. This didn't seem to bother her, however. She continued.
そして最後にサトシ君に選ばれた人にはとっておきの商品が贈られます。
Maybe they get to leave?
商品？サトシ君から最初に気がつくものをプレゼントです。
A C or K sound. Kiss, right? All eyes were suddenly on Satoshi.
サトシ、どういうこと？
俺何も知らないけど。だいたいハーレムってなんだよ。
気のつくプレゼントってキスだよね。こういう時の商品ってきっとそうよね。どうしよう、ハーレムなんてやりたくないけど、でもサトシとキス。お兄ちゃんからの
I mean, he's definitely not gonna pick Yuka. Like, no way.
キスだったりするのかな。
Do I get to choose as Satoshi? Do I get to choose who wins? Because it's not gonna be Yuka. I can say that.
お兄ちゃんからのキスってほっぺかな。もしかして唇？
I don't need a visual of this, please. No.
やだな、私何を考えてるの？ゆかち、何真っ赤になってるの？あ、わかった。お兄ちゃんとのキスシーンを思い浮かべてたんでしょ。違うよ。そうなの？だってゆかち、顔がにやけてたよ。そんなことないもん。ハーレムか。主催者の幸子さん
I was
が
like,
ラブコメが見たいって
Toko doesn't give a shit, and I don't think Miss Yue would either. She's just like, I mean, at least I certainly hope not.
気がつくものって思わせぶりに言ってるけど、持田くんが一番お気に入りの女の子を選ぶわけだから、まず間違いなく商品は持田
It's
くん
probably
からの
something
キス。
completely different. It's just gonna swerve and be a completely different prize.
こういう場でキスが欲しいわけじゃないけど、でも他の女の子に渡したくない。絶対負けたくない。
商品か。優勝者の商品で気がつくもの。キャットタワー？キールロワイヤルもいいな。
I love her first thought is cat, because she's got her cat. What's the cat's name again? It has, I think it's like a book reference or something, a character. I can't remember.
勝った人に選ばせてくれたらいいのに。ハーレムなんてやりたくないけど、ここで大人の女は私だけ。セクシーさではもしかしたら。
Oh gosh, she actually wants to win.
なんでね。
どうしたんですか先生。今目が光ってましたけど。
なんでもない。
さあ皆さん盛り上がってきましたね。あれ、トウコさんだけ反応が芳しくない？
私は別に興味ないから。
ほっと出ましたね、ツンデレ発言。もうアピール開始ですか？
違うわよ。
サトシくんから気のつくプレゼント、何か気になりますね。とっても美味しいキャベツか、それとも愛が込められたキックかな。さあみんな頑張っていきましょう。キャベツ？キック？商品ってそれ？
商品って
商品ってそっち？冗談ですよ。きっと皆さんの想像しているもの。はいはい、では始めますよ。それでは記念すべき1回戦は、誰がサトシくんをゲット？校内ビーチフラッグ対決です。
ビーチフラッグ？どこで？ここ小学校だよね。砂場？
会場には後ほどご案内します。
I'll say, hopefully, depending on how far they go with this will be YouTube safe. We'll see.
参加者の皆様、まずは水着に着替えましょう。
Oh no, okay.
さあ、もう勝負は始まってますよ。更衣室にて水着争奪戦です。さあ、更衣室までダッシュ。
Nobody fully understood what was going on just yet, but everybody just kind of started running.
私が一番ね。
Oh gosh, are they gonna have to go in that gross pool? With all the bodies in there?
水着って一体どこに。あ、ロッカーに水着が入れてある。いっぱいあるな。どれにしよう。もう、なんでこんなことに。きつい。ああ、中島さん早い。おー、いろんな水着があるのね。水着なんて着るの久しぶりよ。どうしよっかな。更衣室遠いよ。苦しい。なんで私まで。
Finally, the whole gang was present in the locker room.
水着いろいろあるね。私ビキニは無理。私も無理だから。
Ayumi had her hand on a dress-type swimsuit, but Toko was apparently prepared to fight her for it, her hand also tightly grasping its stretchy fabric. Oh, we're gonna get a cat fight here?
そっちこそ。
And then they're gonna rip it, and they'll have no choice but to do bikini, because that's probably the only non-bikini there.
ちょっと。
Maybe they'll rip it and it will become a bikini anyway.
二人とも落ち着いて。ほら、じゃんけん。
私が先に掴んだんだから。私だよ。ああ、怖い。思ったより水着が小さい。本当だ。胸が水着に食い込む。私 E カップだから M サイズの水着だとちょっときついんだよね。
Yuka glanced down at her own chest. The swimsuit she'd chosen was too big for her flat body shape, barely even staying on since it had nothing to really grip onto.
釣り落ちちゃいそうだよ。きつく結ばなきゃ。
As Yuka fiddled with her swimsuit, Ayumi was busy taking her school uniform off right beside her. And as she did, a small bottle fell from the pocket and rolled onto the floor.
委員長、何それ。なんでもないよ。聖水持ってきちゃった。願いが成就する効力があるってナホさんのブログに載ってたやつ。持田くんとのキス。
篠崎さん、行くわよ。
はい。どうしようこれ。とりあえず。
Ayumi stuck the bottle back into the pocket of her now discarded school uniform. The girls gathered out by the connecting walkway between the two school buildings, the wind and rain violently whipping at their swimsuits. They were completely exposed to the elements here, and the elements seemingly had no mercy. Each of the girls shivered noticeably as they patted and rubbed themselves in a vain effort to stay warm. Just outside the walkway was a gloomy-looking forest that stretched back who knows how far, its dim canopy of trees looking about as uninviting as could be.
こんな場所があるのね。あっちの校舎には行きたくないな。
The door opened, and both Satsuki and Sachiko emerged from it.
みんな水着に合ってるよ。私はもちろんビッキニ。
Satsuki leaned forward, thrusting her chest outward in the best approximation of a sexy pose she could muster.
さつきちゃん、何その格好。それのどこがビキニなのよ。貝殻ついてるだけじゃない。
Indeed, her swimsuit consisted of 2 white seashells for a top and 1 for a bottom, and nothing else. The shape of her body was extremely easy to discern.
ちゃんと紐も ついてますよ。肌色だから見えにくいけど。
Satsuki yanked on the string binding the two halves of her top together, seemingly to prove to herself as much as everyone else that it was holding.
そういう問題じゃ。いやー、水着の女の子がたくさん盛り上がってきましたね。
As if on cue, a cold wind blew across the walkway, lapping at everyone's skin.
そうかな。なんで司会実況のあなたまで着替えてるのよ。しかも一番目立つやつ。もう帰りたい。寒いし辛い。
やっぱりビキニやめればよかった。恥ずかしいよ。では皆様、お待ちかね、王様の登場です。どうですか、サトシくん、この女子たちのあで姿。
From the white mist that hung in the air, Satoshi slowly came into view. And his appearance was not what anyone expected. A mild commotion erupted.
サトシ、何その格好。
お兄ちゃん。
持田くん、すごい格好。
He just stood there, his face turning beet red. He was wearing a pair of trunks, a red cloak with the gold tassels draped over his shoulders, and an enormous crown on his head. And upon his feet were a pair of red boots with matching golden tassels liberally dangling from the rims.
まさに裸の王様ね。
無理やり着ろって言われたんですよ。
ハーレムだから、やっぱり男の子は王様でしょう。
はあ、どこで知ったんだそんな知識。
Satoshi's shoulders really couldn't have been more slumped. He looked utterly defeated.
ほら元気出して、水着の女の子たちだよ。さあ、一人一人見ていってもらいましょう。もうみんな恥ずかしがりなんだから、さつきが見本を見せてあげる。サトシくん、この水着どうかな。
水着っていうか貝殻つけてるだけだから。
だから紐がついてるんですってちゃんと見てくださいよ。
Satsuki followed this comment by immediately thrusting her chest forward, placing it dangerously close to Satoshi.
触ってもいいですよ。
え？
だってサトシくん王様だから。
Oh boy, we have a choice here. Alright, let's save. Alright, let's poker chess. Let's make all the girls mad. Satoshi nervously swallowed. His stomach was purely butterflies at this point.
いいのかこんなことして。
Gingerly, Satoshi poked one of the shells with his finger. There was a sense of the shell cupping inward slightly, then puffing back out.
はあ、柔らかいな。
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. All the girls are just gonna kill him right now.
何してるのよ。持田くん、校内で不純異性行為は禁止。
持田くんってそういう人だったんだ。
I guess when you think about it, well, apparently she's a middle schooler, which just makes it that much worse.
Huh? Oh.
Satoshi came back to his senses all at once, and realized the mood around him had shifted. His friends and classmates all thirsted for his blood now.
ああ、嘘嘘。悪魔のささやきが。
さつきを呼んで大正解。
Satoshi, battered and bruised, managed to eke out a very thin, very faintly voiced plea.
許してください。
まあちょっかい出してきたのはあの子だけど、
さつきちゃん中学生なんでしょ。色っぽいわね。
Yuka looked down at her chest
同い
dejectedly.
年なのにユカとは全然スタイルが違う。
ねえ、持田くんにああいうことするのやめてくれる？はあ、あゆみーな怒らないで。サトシくんはみんなのものだよ。みんなでめでよう。は？あゆみーな？はいはい。それじゃあさつきのお手本を参考にどんどんアピールしていきましょう。ほら、ゆかち。
I was kind of hoping I was going to get an immediate wrong end, but I guess not. Satsuki pushed Yuka forward from behind, forcing her to confront her brother.
お兄ちゃん似合ってるかな。ユカ初めてのビキニなんだけど。
Nothing he says feels like it's going to be a good answer. I feel like he's going to get in trouble no matter what.
ああ、いいんじゃないかって。
Yeah, and he's like, what? Satoshi immediately averted his eyes while Yuka covered her chest with her arm.
あらあら、ちょっとサイズが大きかったみたいでビキニがずり落ちちゃったみたいですね。でもナイスアピール。では同じくビキニのナオミさん。ほらほら照れてないで。
Naomi slowly, hesitantly walked up to Satoshi. The two of them looked one another over more closely, and almost at the exact same time, they each just couldn't hold it in anymore.
もうサトシの格好面白すぎる。
なんだよ。でもまあ自分でも笑える。
マジックでヒゲとか描いたらいいんじゃないの？鼻の下に J のマークのやつ。
完全にバカ王だな。ナオミの渡り廊下でビキニってのも結構笑えると思うんだけど。
だよね。
Neither Satoshi nor Naomi could stop it. They both just burst out laughing from the very pits of their stomachs. And as soon as they did, all the tension present among the other girls instantly melted away.
ほんとおかしいわよね。こんな不気味な廃校で水着でハーレムとか。
旗から見たら妙なサバトみたいに見えるかも。言えてる。
ああ、皆さんいい感じにほぐれてきましたね。それでは王様をゲットするのは誰か。ビーチフラッグ対決開始です。スタートラインに並んでください。
The whole gang moved as a group over to the white line drawn on the ground at one end of the walkway and took their positions as indicated.
全員うつ伏せに寝転んで手を顎の下に置いてください。
砂浜じゃないのに寝転ぶんだ。
意外ときちんとやるのね。
冷たい。
それでは皆さん準備はいいですか？はい、スタート。
Everyone shot to their feet as soon as the starting pistol— when did she get a starting pistol? —fired.
さあ引き続き実況の水原さつきがお送りします。合図とともに各馬一斉に走り出しました。誰が馬よ。あの子本当に中学生？なんか競馬の実況中継みたい。おーっと優香選手慌ててしまったのか砂もないのに足を取られて転倒。これは痛い。各馬一列に並んでいる。誰が抜けるか。ナオミ選手頭一つ抜け出した。
もうなんで私がこんなことを。でも負けたくない。もし賞品がサトシのキスだったら、他の子にキスなんて。いや、
次に出てきたのはおさぎの委員長あゆみ選手。
Naomi turned to look, and sure enough, Ayumi was right alongside her now. Knowing the things that they do to each other in the first game when you get the bad end, I was like, this could get violent. Especially because I think they were fighting mostly because of Satoshi. And then they just got real nasty. She was laser focused on the road ahead, not even turning to look back at Naomi, nor saying a word.
なんで委員長がこんなに頑張ってるの？もしかしてサトシのことが好きなの？
ちょっとみんな早い。
ゆかちゃんが転んで、あのトウコって子はやる気がないし、やっぱりライバルはダッシュだわ。
I love that Naomi implies that if Yuka hadn't have fallen, she would be a legitimate person to, like, have to contend with, knowing that she, like, implying that everyone knows Yuka has a weird thing for her brother. Naomi put every last bit of energy she had into her feet, practically kicking the ground out of the way. As she did, she swung her hands in an increasingly wide arc, just gonna smack Ayumi across the face.
それにしてもこの渡り廊下なんでこんなに長いの？
状況によってぐんぐん距離が伸びる天神小学校の渡り廊下を選手たちが突き進んでいます。伸びてんじゃないわよ。ほう、ナオミ選手スパートをかけました。また正当です。このまま逃げ切るのか。
このままじゃ負けちゃう。
転倒したゆかちと最初から走ってないトウコさんが全然レースに絡んでこないですね。どうしましょう、幸子さん。
What about Miss Yue? I guess she's just quote-unquote old, therefore not in shape.
ちょっとルールを変えるわ。というと、サトシの身につけている王冠、マント、ブーツをそれぞれ一つずつゲットすること。ふむふむ。何もゲットできなかった最後の一人は大切にしてるもの一つもらっちゃおう。
絶対嫌。
All at once, the three of them just bolted.
すっごい早い。
Satsuki leaned in and whispered into Sachiko's ear.
幸子さん、今日は楽しい文化祭にするんじゃなかったんですか？うん、さっきのは冗談だよ。そうなんだ。
Sachiko kept a smile on her face as she said this, and retained it afterward as well, but it was impossible to know what she was actually thinking. Satoshi, who was standing at, and serving as, the goal, saw the throng of swimsuit-clad girls running at him with extreme vigor and was taken aback.
なんでみんなあんな怖い顔でこっちに向かってくるんだ。
Satoshi began backing away. As he did, all the scary things that had happened to him in Heavenly Host began replaying in his mind. In this place, the slightest bit of unreadiness could result in a swift demise.
捕まったら本気でヤバい気がする。いきなりハサミを突き立てられたりするかもしれない。心臓がドキドキしてきた。ここにいちゃダメだ。
Satoshi placed one hand on the door to the annex, and as luck would have it, it wasn't locked. It opened with barely any effort.
ごめんなさい。
And with that, he leaped inside.
どうしよう。
Satoshi took a close look at his surroundings.
ここで動きがありました。なんとハーレムの主人公であるサトシ君が逃げ出したようです。さーて、どうなってしまうのでしょうか。
Satoshi quickly surveyed the two doors on either side of this old building's entrance hall.
こっちは棚が倒れている。じゃあこっちだ。
I love how usually we're running away from, like, spirits, but this time it's, bikini-clad girls. Or swimsuit-clad girls, I should say. He fled through the open door deeper into the building.
男子トイレ。ここに入って隠れるか。
The entrance to the building flung open, and the continuous sound of footfalls rang through the halls. Yeah, the girls had a weird thing about going to the boys' bathroom, so maybe he will be safe
サ
there.
トシ君に続いて女の子たちも次々と別館に飛び込んでいく。
ダメだ。絶対見つかる。逃げよう。
持田くん、どこに行くの？お兄ちゃん、待って！
Satoshi's panic-addled mind, the affectionate calls of his female friends might as well have been the roars of monsters. Satoshi yelled out, then began running once more, focusing every last survival instinct he had into his leg muscles.
これはラブコメというよりホラーになってきましたね。幸子さん的にはこれどうなんでしょう。面白い。
Sachiko was clapping. She was very clearly loving this.
OK のようです。
Satoshi began running up the stairs to the second floor. Naomi was right behind him, however, and she was sprinting so fast she had to take 2 stairs at a time. Despite the bikini, she no longer felt the cold. She felt only the desire to win. Well, that's, definitely can't use that as a thumbnail. She called out to him from mere steps behind, but he wouldn't turn back to look at her.
どういうことよ。なんかだんだん腹が立ってきたんだけど、だいたいなんでサトシが逃げ回るわけ？
Once Satoshi had reached the second floor, he burst through the door. At this point, Naomi had just crossed the threshold from 1F to 2F herself, but she caught up quickly and had him cornered right by the girls' bathroom. Naomi leaped into the air towards Satoshi's back, arms outstretched reaching for his cloak, but she missed. She had misjudged the distance between herself and her target, so her hand grabbed a rather different article of clothing. Oh no, she grabbed his swimsuit. Oh yeah. She had put considerable power into her grab, and thus encountered almost no resistance. Down they went. The scream she let out was more like a squeak, as if she needed to make noise, but knew she had to stay quiet, and couldn't quite reconcile the two. The upper part of his buttocks were completely exposed, and her eyes could focus on nothing else. Then, inevitably, he lost his balance. Oh no, they're gonna be caught in a compromising position, as did Naomi. She fell toward him just as he fell toward her. Somehow, the physics of this all worked out in such a way that they were now staring into one another's eyes lumped together in a heap on the floor. From an outsider's perspective, this must have looked as if it had happened intentionally, and they were about to enter a lover's embrace.
サトシとこんな風に体を密着させたのって初めてかも。思ったよりずっとがっしりしてる。
柔らかいって何を考えてるんだ俺は。
Satoshi focused his attention on Naomi's face, which, although closer than it had ever been before, had a familiar calming effect on him.
ごめん。
私こそ。
Both of them began to blush and turn their eyes to look away from one another. Naomi was the next girl up the stairs. She must have been running hard enough to cause shortness of breath, as her chest was rising and falling a lot quicker than it naturally should have. As she beheld Satoshi and Naomi's predicament on the floor, her neck stiffened too. For all the world, it looked as if they were cuddling. Oh no, is she gonna be like, must murder Naomi?
そんなにくっついてるの。二人で今まで何をしていたんだろう。いつも気づいたら二人きりになって。胸が苦しい。
Within her bosom swirled a mixture of jealousy and irritation, and neither one seemed like it would let up any time soon. They were competing, in fact, to see which would burn her heart the quickest. Oh no, is she darkening from this? She put both hands on the sides of her head over her ears. Suddenly, very clearly in pain, Satoshi and Naomi instantly became concerned.
篠崎。
委員長、どうしたの？
Naomi began shaking. Then, all at once, she opened her eyes wide. Oh god, she's gonna kill them!
篠崎。
どうしたの？様子が変。
Even the look on her face had changed. It was as if she had aged several decades in only a few seconds. Satoshi and Naomi ran down the stairs as quickly as they could. Oh shit, alright, okay, let's save. I don't know why I'm saying the music room. Maybe because I think that's the bad choice, and like instinctively I want to kind of like get a wrong end. Because I find them amusing, so we'll go for the music room. This might be the right choice, I have no idea, but like the natural choice would be to go for the exit. But maybe she would think we're going for the exit and go there. The two of them entered the music room. Just as he said this, the door to the room flew open. I love hide under the piano. You can clearly see under the piano. I don't know. You think like hiding behind the podium or something. Okay, that's why. As if in direct defiance of that statement, however, Ayumi suddenly crouched down and looked directly at the two of them. She grabbed Satoshi's shoulder with almost superhuman force and yanked him out from under the piano. Satoshi pushed back against Ayumi, trying to break free from her grip. Now, if we remember from, like, the previous game, that when Yoshiki, when he like pulled her into a hug, that kind of calmed her down. So I feel like if Satoshi showed her affection, that would probably snap her out of it. He managed to put enough force into his push that Ayumi lost her balance. Unfortunately, this caused her to slam her head into the piano hard. That snap her out of it? I mean, if it works, it works. It did. Oh, so maybe I did make the right choice. She had a big frown on her face and was rubbing her head where it had impacted the piano. She was staring blankly at Satoshi.
体がぶつかった拍子に篠崎を突き飛ばしてしまったんだ。それで頭を。
そうなの？よくわからないけど、町田くんが大丈夫ならいいや。ああ、コブができてる。
本当か？ごめんな。
うん。
ここは天神小学校。人の心を狂わせる場所だ。追い詰められ、別人のような一面を見せてもおかしくない。行こうか。
Satoshi, Naomi, and Ayumi all stood up and walked out of the music room together. Damn, I was kind of hoping to get the wrong end there.
でもいいんですか？そんなにまったりしていて。1回戦の目的、分かってます？
The three of them were taken aback. They'd gotten so caught up in the hunt, the end goal of the beach flag competition had totally slipped their minds.
そうよ。
Acting as quickly as she could manage, Naomi pounced upon Satoshi, swiping the crown from his head in one quick movement. Naomi thought the same thing, albeit a moment later. She leapt at Satoshi and tore off his cloak. As it was being stripped from his body, Satoshi spun in place dramatically.
ナオミさん、あゆみさん、ゲットおめでとうございます。さて、残りの3人はどうなってるでしょうか。
After a short wait, the pitter-patter of frantically approaching feet became audible.
一周しちゃったわよ。
Yuka and Miss Yue approached Satoshi calmly, as if trying to edge closer to a deer.
もうなんでビーチフラッグが逃げる
すいません。なんか怖くて。
のよ。もう
Miss Yue and Yuka each took one of Satoshi's boots off his feet.
シシド先生、ゆかち、おめでとう。
I wonder if Sachiko's gonna go back on her whole thing about, like, it was just a joke. What's the other girl's name? Like, Toko or something?
疲れた。
And then maybe something will happen to her.
もうダメ。ということは
As if on cue, Toko finally made her way in through the building's entrance.
残念ながら、トウコさん失格です。
Toko looked only very slightly taken aback by this.
脱落者に与えられる罰とは
Toko shot a dirty look over at Sachiko, obviously putting on a brave facade. This was belied, however, by the excessive shaking in both her arms and legs.
一回休みです。
She's like, oh, what a punishment.
お休みになります。アピールタイムが減ってしまいますね。これは辛い。
なんだ、そんなこと。もう。
No, Toko, no. No, you have to make it interesting for Sachiko. You have to or you have to pretend like, oh no, oh, I'm so upset, because Sachiko wants things to be entertaining. She wants, I'm sure, to see, like, people actually be upset about losing. She immediately fell to her knees on the spot after hearing this, perhaps out of sheer relief.
大丈夫？
Satoshi seemed to think it was something more serious, so he rushed over to her side to check on her. She flashed him a stiff smile.
安心しただけ。天神小学校だから、どんな怖い目に遭うかと思ってたけど。楽しい文化祭って。
No, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop here.
なあ、そうだな。
Toko glanced over at Satoshi and saw the gentle look in his eyes. Immediately she turned away, and realized her face had gone red.
何よこいつ。どうしてそんな優しい目で見るのよ。やだ。何焦ってんのよ、私ったら。
Toko shunted these new feelings deep down, unwilling to even entertain them.
ダメダメ。男なんて信用したら、きっと裏切られる。本性を表すに決まってる。でも、あの笑顔は。
Mochi actually is like falls really hard for him, and then she just comes out and like, I will win. The girls, having completed the first round of this challenge, were all breathing rather raggedly. They were visibly exhausted to the point of collapse.
いやー、熱い一回戦でしたね。どうですか、幸子さん。もっと見たい。はーい、今日の主役がこうおっしゃられてます。というわけで、皆さん頑張りましょう。それでは2回戦です。次の舞台はなんと。みんな大好き、保健室です。
Oh no. Oh yeah, right. Naomi, that was, that's right. That was the whole thing with her and Seiko were there, and then Naomi, that's where I got my first death in the game, I think.
やだ。あそこはすごく嫌な感じがする。
ナオミ、大丈夫か？
うん。ちょっと気持ち悪い。保健室ですごく怖い目にあった気がするの。
そうか。無理そうなら棄権して休んでおくか？
うん。でも。
幸子、今日は楽しい文化祭なんだろ？怖いことはないよな？
うん。
ここにはみんなもいるし、何かあったとしても今度は俺が守るから。
サトシ、あの子信用できないけど、でもハーレムが見たいって言ってるんだから、あんな怖いことは起こらないはず。それにサトシのキスがかかってるし。
Once again, they're assuming it's a kiss. So, Sachiko didn't confirm this. It's probably something completely different.
どうしたナオミ、顔が赤いぞ。熱でも。
大丈夫、熱なんてないから。
そうか。ならいいけど。
なんだかんだ言って優しいんだよね、サトシは。
それでは移動します。保健室とは癒しの部屋、そしてこっそり二人の愛を育んだりもしちゃえる夢の場所。どれだけ海外しくサトシ君に尽くせるか、彼を癒せるかアピールしましょう。審査員はもちろん幸子さん。さて、癒しの天使となった4名が入場です。
As the door to the infirmary was opened, the first and really only thing that caught Satoshi's eye was the line of fabulous girls in white. Well, at least they're fully dressed this time, so that's good. Okay, so he's got a thing for nurses. Girls in bathing suits did nothing for him. Nurses, though, that's what gets him going. Satoshi couldn't help but stare despite himself.
はーい、皆さん素敵ですね。まずは可愛いナズークのナオミさん。これぞ白衣の天使。白いミニスカートに黒いニーソックスがセクシーですね。白スカと黒ニーソの間に見える白い肌。これぞ絶対領域。
Naomi was wearing a cosplay nurse outfit with a miniskirt that seemed to hang down to only just about 20 centimeters above the knee, along with black knee socks. She was looking down at the floor, blushing furiously. She seems more embarrassed in the nurse's outfit than she does in the bikini. She kept tugging at the hem of her skirt, trying to hide her thighs, but it was a futile effort.
では次、アユミーナ。ミニにニーソなんて邪道。正統派ナースを見よ。清楚とはこういうことだ。
As described, Ayumi was wearing an old-fashioned knee-length nurse's outfit, yet she still looked horribly embarrassed to be seen in it.
それではシシド先生、白衣をまとった助教師。担当は英語だそうですが、保健医になっちゃいなよ。科学の先生でもいいな。ミニのタイトスカートがセクシー。
Miss Yue was wearing a blouse and tight miniskirt, but with a white doctor's gown draped over top.
白衣ってなんだか気持ちまで引き締まるわね。
そしてこれぞロリータ。ピンクのナース服に白いタイツでユカチが登場です。似合ってるかな。
The pink nurse's uniform somehow made Yuka look even younger, if that's possible. She already looks like she's like 7.
以上、4名で2回戦を争います。では2回戦は癒されちゃおうよ禁断の保健室で、みんなのラブパワーでサトシくんを癒しちゃうよ。今回は1人ずつアピールしてもらいます。点数は解放ポイントとラブポイントの2種類でそれぞれ10点満点です。2つのポイントの合計点で競います。一番得点の低かった1名が1回休みになります。皆さん頑張って。それでは1人ずつくじを引いてください。くじには番号が振ってあります。
When she said the word ticket, she held up what she had in her hand, which was a small stack of Sachiko Ever After paper dolls.
くじ？紙人形に番号が書いてあるみたいね。
何番が当たるかによってアピールが変わってきますからご注意。
Satsuki took out a box and stuffed the tickets into it, mixing them up a little for good measure. Each of the girls then slowly, hesitantly reached into it and drew one of the paper dolls.
はい、皆さん引きましたね。では1番の人。
Kind of a lame thing where it's like the worst thing that happens in this is you just have to sit out the next round. It's like be more interesting if there was a little, like, you know, was implied in the first round where it's like you lose something very precious to you.
私だけど1番手ということで皆さんのお手本になってくださいね。この勝負ではダミー人形を使います。
ダミー人形？
人工呼吸などの練習に使う人形です。
ああ、あのマネキンみたいな。
Oh gosh, this reminds me of high school when we had to learn CPR and those dummy things.
幸子さんがダミー人形にいろいろ
We
仕
had
掛け
to, I
ますの
remember
で、
we had to
女
name
の子
them.
たちは症状に合った手当てをしてください。
And you just think too, it's just like how many other people have used those CPR dolls, especially like if you gotta put your mouth to it. It's like I hope they wipe them down at least.
ダミー人形サトシくんと思って大事にね。そして5分の制限時間内にうまく対処できないと、
できないと。
サトシくんがだんだんとダミー人形と同じ状態になっちゃう
Okay,
の
well
で、
there we go. There's a little bit more. I was like, they don't even get to interact with Satoshi. That's kind of lame.
サトシくんはダミー人形のそばにいてくださいね。
Okay, maybe I'll make choices. Maybe I have to like multiple choice about like what I think the symptoms are and I have to treat them. Maybe I could accidentally kill Satoshi this way.
ナオミさんも近くに来てください。では、幸子さん、お願いします。
Sachiko sleepily nodded her head and snapped her fingers. There we go. This just got interesting.
何これ、ダミー人形のお腹が裂けてる。
The dummy's stomach had been torn to shreds, with its bloody internal organs jutting out from the wound every which way. Just like, Tommy's like, I'm not trained for this. What's the symptom? Split open chest. I think that's pretty obvious.
はい、ナオミさん、手当てをしてください。ほらほら、アピール。
手当てって、もっと軽い擦り傷とかじゃないの？
It sucks whenever you have to do these things and you're the first one because you have nobody to like, you know, see what they did and kind of like they said she's the model for it, but she's got nobody to base off, like, what is she supposed to do? The dummy's blood loss was out of control. Naomi had no idea how to stop it, nor even if she possibly could. The pool of blood surrounding the doll just kept growing and growing.
サトシ、お腹が。
血が滲んでる。
もう30秒経ってますよ。早く手当てしないと、サトシくんのお腹がやばいですよ。
わかったわよ。
Naomi did her best to gather up all the guts that had spilled out of the gaping wound. She then stuffed them back into the dummy doll, carefully but hurriedly. The thick stench of blood was unavoidable. It hung in the air all around. It's like, put the guts back in, but make it sexy. Remember, you also gotta be sexy while you do it. While your, like, arms are all, like, you know, probably up to her freaking elbows in blood.
内臓を詰めてもお腹が閉まらない。
Naomi stood up and looked over at the desk. She grabbed something off of it, then turned to face the bed. Yanking the sheets off the bed, she focused her strength and tore into them with surprisingly little effort.
何やら考えがある様子。どんな手当てが行われるのか楽しみです。
Naomi knelt beside the dummy. The item she grabbed from the desk was a stapler. She's like, I'm just gonna staple the guts back in. She's now using it to staple shut the wound to the dummy's stomach.
針と糸がないから代用したの。医療用ホチキス、スキンステープラーで傷口を止めるのを見たことがあるから。
I thought she was gonna like get some, you know, like the bed sheets and wrap it up as like almost like a tourniquet.
もちろん、これは普通のホチキスだけど。
おお、ナオミさん物知りですね。そしてホチキスを使う決断力もすごいです。
サトシ、大丈夫？
The bloodstain on Satoshi's stomach was bigger now. Naomi wrapped up the dummy's lower body with the strips of sheet she prepared. There we go, okay.
もう十分でしょ。サトシを直して。
どうですか、幸子さん。面白かった。
She snapped her fingers.
サトシ、
Satoshi's clothes no longer had even a single speck of blood on
お
them.
腹は？
Naomi hurriedly pulled up Satoshi's shirt to check. Satoshi's stomach was smooth as silk. There wasn't a single cut to be found anywhere.
よかった。大丈夫みたい。
ナオミ、くすぐったいんだけど。
Naomi only then realized she'd been rubbing Satoshi's tummy the whole time. Her face immediately turned beet red and she threw her hands back. Naomi tried to hide her embarrassment by making a face. But this wasn't particularly effective since in the next moment she suddenly burst into tears.
必死に手当てをしていたけど、ずっと不安だった。よかった。間に合って。
Seeing Naomi's tears, Satoshi gently laid his hand upon her head.
びっくりしたんだな。俺は平気だぞ。ありがとな。
Satoshi gently caressed her head. With tears continuing to stream down her face, Naomi thrust her head onto Satoshi's chest, desperate for his warmth and comforting touch. No, I'm sure they'll be like 10 points for love.
楽しそうですね。今日はブレイクをどんな死に方をしてもちゃんとリセットされるから安心して。それでは点数を見てみましょう。まずは解放ポイント。
Sachiko raised a small sign with a number on it.
8点が出ましたよ。10点満点中8点です。これは高得点。
I hope Yuka gets kicked out. I don't want her in the competition. I feel like it's going to be down to Ayumi and Naomi because they're the two that are like really competing for Satoshi. Plus, they're the most age appropriate.
どういうところがポイントでしたか？飛び出た内臓をうまく処理したところ。ホチキスを思いつき、なおかつ実行したのはすごいですね。必死だったから。続きましては、ラブラブポイントです。
Sachiko raised the small sign.
おお、これまた高得点が出ました。8点で、サトシ君が生き返り、安心したナオミさんがポロリとこぼした涙。そんなナオミさんを優しく撫でるというほんわかシチュエーションが高得点を叩き出したのでしょうか。合計16点。これはトップ通過の予感がします。さて、それでは2番の方。
私です。
さあ、次はサトシ君がどんな目に遭うのでしょうか。
俺、またあんな恐ろしい目に遭うの？
ハーレムなんだから、ちょっとくらい痛いのを我慢しましょう。
ちょっと！内臓が飛び出すかもしれなかったんだけど！
サチコさん、お願いします。
With another sleepy nod and snap of her fingers, the next game had begun.
人形の顔が赤くなってる。
Miss Yue put her hand on the doll's forehead.
ひどい熱。
あら、そこは額に額を当てなきゃハーレム勝負ですよ。
生徒にそんなことを。
Miss Yue carefully carried the dummy over to the bed, where she'd be able to nurse it back to health more effectively. Oh, this is like a... This must be because of, like, when she had the fever and Satoshi took care of her. I mean, that's gotta be it, right?
頭が痛い。
Just as with the dummy, Satoshi's face began to get redder and redder by the second.
持田くん、頑張って。このダミー人形を看病すればいいのよね。氷や保冷剤があればよかったんだけど。
Miss Yue rested her head softly on the dummy's forehead.
大変、熱がどんどん上がってる。これは40度近いんじゃ。なんとかしないと。
Really? Is that... he's not gonna make it. I remember when I had COVID, I was definitely... I was close to 40 Celsius. I think I was like 39.5 or something. So that's kind of scary if it's... I guess it also depends on how long you have that fever for, but geez Louise. I've heard of people who, when they had COVID, like were definitely above 40 Celsius. And I will admit it did feel like I was dying.
そういえば、持田くんにはこの前看病してもらったよね。
Satoshi smiled.
看病なんて、ちょっとおかゆ作っただけですよ。
それもあるけど、嬉しかったんだ。目が覚めた時、持田くんがそばにいてくれて。 ほら、私一人暮らしでしょ。
Monet!
まあ、モネがいる
That
から
was the
ね。
cat's name. I was
やっぱ
trying to
り
think about. I
病気
knew
に
it
なっ
was
た
like
時
an
って
it was
心
some
細い
sort
よ
of
ね。
like based on an artist.
だから誰かがそばにいてくれたっていうのがすごく嬉しかったの。それに町田くん優しいから。
普通ですよ。
何やらほのぼのいい雰囲気ですね。
ふん。私の時はお腹を裂いたっていうのに。
I was thinking that. I was like, there's quite the discrepancy between a fever and literal guts spilling out.
喉が渇いた。水は。
Well, we actually have water in here? That was always a big thing, was trying to find water here, and there never was any.
わかったわ。ちょっと待っててね。
Miss Yue stood up, but then was faced with a dilemma.
保健室に水がない。
飲み物あるよ。
Sachiko cheerfully produced a plastic bottle and handed it to Miss Yue. Oh gosh, I'm worried. What was it? What could be in that bottle? Oh shit. Okay, we do have a choice here. Alright, we're gonna save. I'm going to refuse. I don't trust it.
いらないわ。
Miss Yue studied Sachiko's eyes for a moment.
何か企んでいるように見える。
But then again, it could be like a double thing where it's like Sachiko knows that we distrust her. So we would instinctively not want to take something she has, but it could be the thing that we need.
せっかくの申し出だけど、この子は信用できない。
Miss Yue continued to study her surroundings. The room happened to have an old wash basin style sink in it. She didn't expect much, but she decided to try turning the tap anyway. And fortunately, a very small stream of water began pouring out of the faucet. Hopefully it's good water, though.
よかった。
She cupped a few gulps worth of water in her hands, then hurried back to Satoshi and held it to his mouth.
持田くん、ほら、お水よ。
She attempted to tilt her hands to Satoshi. Oh, so Satoshi would have an easier time drinking the water, but with his weak shaking, it only wound up wetting his lips.
ダメだわ、このままじゃ。
I can see some glasses on that little, like, pushcart right behind you. Miss Yue began dabbing at the area around Satoshi's mouth, cleaning it as best as she could manage. All the while, Satoshi was moaning in agony.
どうしよう。
Is she gonna have to, like, spit the water into his mouth like a baby bird?
口移しなら飲んでもらえる
Yep.
かも。でもそんなことできない。持田くん、聞こえる？お水よ、頑張って飲んで。
At the sound of her strong urging, Satoshi weakly nodded, and Miss Yue went to get more water. With a bit more gentle maneuvering, she was finally able to get him to swallow a few gulps this time. She's probably going to lose points for that, because that's probably exactly what she was supposed to do. Relaxed and slightly more hydrated than before, he displayed a peaceful expression on his face. He then closed his eyes. Tiny beads of sweat were forming on Satoshi's forehead. Miss Yue took out a handkerchief and quietly, gently wiped them away.
不思議ね。こうしているとなんだか落ち着く。そう、司くんといる時みたい。変ね。全然似てないのに。
先生。
何？
寝言か。かわいい。
Miss Yue smiled and began gently stroking Satoshi's forehead.
何よ。まるで恋人同士みたい。やだな。風邪で寝込んでいるサトシの看病。そういうのは私がやりたかった。
It said now we got like the most traumatizing one.
それにあの先生の顔、まるで恋人を見つめる目だ。相手は生徒だっていうのに勝手にやってれば。
Naomi spun around in a bit of a tizzy, but her wide hips knocked a small bottle off the desk behind her. The glass bottle broke, and the clear liquid therein came pouring out. The liquid flowed down an imperceptible crevice in the floor all the way to the bed. Oh! Then, all of a sudden, the sooted-out space heater in the center of the room came roaring to life, a fire sparking out of nowhere in its chamber. Yuka, who'd been leaning against the stove, yelped and jumped backwards at the sudden appearance of flames right next to her. And as a result of this movement, the heater toppled over. lighting the spilled fluid on the ground in the process. Oh shit. Was that was in the bottle? Was it like lighter fluid that I may have given Satoshi? Whatever was in that bottle evidently had a rather high alcohol content. The flame quickly traveled down the path left behind by the spilled liquid, like a cartoon fuse heading toward a cannon. Once it got to the bed, it immediately licked its way up the sheets, setting the entire bed ablaze. The dummy doll lying there was utterly engulfed almost instantaneously. Whoa, shit, this escalated. She doesn't have such an easy task now.
まさしく二人の愛が燃え上がっています。大変。お兄ちゃん、持田くん、しっかり。
水は
蛇口をひねってるけど、もう水出ないの。
叩いて消すわ。
The infirmary was an absolute din of screams at this point.
燃えてる。そろそろ消した方が良さそうですね。炎が壁を登ってますし。
Sachiko snapped her fingers, and just like that, the fire was gone.
ちょっとしたハプニングもあり、大変見応えがありましたね。それでは点数をお願いします。まずは解放ポイント。
Sachiko raised her sign.
9点が出ましたよ。先ほどの8点を超える高得点です。
The love scene is probably a little bit like, maybe she'll get like a 6 or something.
まるで新婚さんみたいでよかった。なるほどなるほど。海外しく世話をし、初々しさもあり、さすが大人の女。見事な若妻っぷりでした。さあ、ラブラブポイントはどうでしょうか。
Sachiko held up another sign.
あ、5点です。これは厳しい。もっとラブコメっぽいところが見たかった。確かに、あの場面でなぜ口移しをしなかったのか。恥じらいがあだになった模様。合計点数は14点。現在2位。
さすがに生徒相手にはね。
さて、それでは3番は誰ですか？私よ。
Oh gosh, she sounds determined.
あゆみーなの登場です。自信のほどは？
ないけど。
Not high.
でも、非常時にこそ冷静に全力を尽くすわ。
Really? Do you tend to stay calm? Do you? I'm trying to think of all the times. Usually you tend to get possessed and run off and cause problems for everybody. Or like start hyperventilating.
頼りになりそうです。
もう限界だよ。
Uh-oh. What's this about?
何言ってるんですか、サトシくん。ちゃんと元通りになるんだからいいじゃないですか。
死ぬほど痛いし苦しいんだけど。
喉元すぎればなんとやら。男性ならショック死をしてしまうと言われている陣痛の痛みも出産後は忘れてしまうと言います。だからサトシくんも大丈夫。
君、トラウマとか PTSD って言葉知ってる？
I mean, I think they've certainly had enough things happen at Heavenly Host where they already have quite a bit of PTSD. Satsuki just smiled and let Satoshi's comments pass right through her.
サチコさん、お願いします。
Sachiko nodded drowsily yet again and snapped her fingers yet again. The door to the infirmary suddenly rolled open with a clatter. Oh shit, what are you gonna do? And in walked Yoshikazu to a litany of horrified screams from the startled onlookers. It certainly stood to reason they'd scream too. He was, after all, a rather creepy-looking giant of a man wielding a massive blood-stained hammer.
はーい、お楽しみゲスト、吉勝さんの登場です。
Yoshikazu let out a slight groan and hobbled his way over toward where Satoshi stood. Is Ayumi gonna have to, like, protect Satoshi from this guy? I feel kind of bad for her. Yumi could feel her body freezing up in fear. And her teeth were chattering. What was that about staying calm under pressure? Yes, that's about the Ayumi I know. It was like her meek request had been wrung out of her. She could barely get out even a single syllable without tremendous effort. Yumi stepped between Yoshikazu and Satoshi, determined to protect her charge at all costs. Well, there you go. Yumi stood no chance. Yoshikazu pushed her aside like she wasn't even there. He then approached the dummy doll and raised his hammer. With his first swing, he directly struck the dummy's legs hard. They didn't just break, they twisted and contorted in entirely unnatural directions. Yeah, I was like, the fever doesn't seem so bad in comparison, does it? Yoshikazu's hammer was then brought down again, and again, and again, mercilessly striking the dummy over and over.
あれはダミー人形だけど、あの苦しみは持田君に行くんだ。もし私が失敗したら。
Before she knew what she was doing, Ayumi leapt onto Yoshikazu and began grappling with him. Once again, with little effort, Yoshikazu managed to shake her off rather violently, tossing her to the floor in the process.
いいよデクノボ。
His duty fulfilled, the beast swiftly turned and sauntered out of the infirmary once more. In his wake, he left a dummy doll with thoroughly smashed arms and legs.
無残な姿になったダミー人形。制限時間内に手当てできなければ、サトシ君がこの姿になってしまいます。頑張れ、アユミーナ。
手当てに取り掛かるわ。
Yumi scurried over to the large cabinet against the wall.
包帯、ガーゼ、それに何か添え木になるもの。
She opened the cabinet door.
瓶ばかりで包帯がない。ハンカチでなんとか。あ、机の上に定規がある。
足が。
Satoshi's legs had turned red and were beginning to swell. And Yumi felt the pulpy mess that used to be a set of legs on the dummy doll. Ugh, pulpy. They should never be used to describe your limbs.
まずは骨の位置を元に戻さないと。
Gently, after sussing out the general shape and position of one of the doll's legs, Ayumi wrapped both hands around it. She then pulled with every last ounce of strength she could muster.
添え木を当てて、ハンカチで縛る。
Ayumi carefully affixed the ruler in place.
右足はこれで大丈夫。あとは左足と両手。
Ayumi continued to rush around frantically, trying her best to address as many of Satoshi's wounds in the time allotted as humanly possible.
どうしたの、持田君。
痛みがひどくなってきた。
痛み？
Yumi had performed what was essentially advanced first aid, but it just dawned on her she'd done nothing at all to account for Satoshi's pain.
ごめんなさい。私。
篠崎、いいんだ。俺なら。
持田君、辛そう。せめて痛みを和らげてあげられたら。あ、そうだ。ポケットに聖水がある。
Yumi produced the tiny bottle from the pocket of her nurse's uniform, which she transferred over from her school uniform when she got changed. Naho Sanoki, who she respected quite a lot, had been selling these through her website.
あなたの願いが叶います。
ナホさんはそう言っていた。
Yumi opened the bottle. At this point, winning this competition and scoring a kiss from Satoshi was the farthest thing from her mind. She just wanted to spare him from his suffering. That was all that mattered.
飲んで。これ聖水なの。もしかしたら痛みが消えるかも。
篠崎のおまじないグッズか。
そうだ。自分のおまじない。そのせいでみんなはこの天神小学校に。
A mixture of feelings were swimming around within her now, a storm of repentance and regret. Ayumi took a deep breath.
後悔しても始まらない。今この瞬間を打開することだけ考えよう。飲んでみて。
Ayumi poured the holy water into Satoshi's mouth, slowly and
ど
carefully.
う？
あれ、なんだか痛みが。
Ayumi's eyes lit up at the thought she may have helped Satoshi feel better, but before he could finish his sentence, he's like, worse! It's getting worse! Sachiko snapped her fingers, and everything more or less reset.
幸子さん、
変なものを使ったからやめさせた。
Oh, uh-oh, she gonna get disqualified?
どうやら聖水の存在が気に入らなかったようです。はゆみーな、お疲れ様でした。まさかの吉和さんの登場で盛り上がりましたね。それでは点数をお願いします。まずは解放ポイント。
Sachiko held up one of her signs.
残念、6点です。
普通だった。
まあ、折れた骨を正しい位置に戻して固定する常識的な措
I
置
mean,
ですね。
better than I could do in that situation. Oh boy.
さあ、ラブラブポイントはどうでしょうか。
Sachiko held up another sign.
おお、9点です。ラブラブポイントとしてはこれまでの最高得点。
Really? Over literally, like, Naomi hugging him and... Okay.
ビッグヌボーから守ろうとするところが
Okay,
よかった。
that's true. She did literally put herself in harm's way. That's true.
勇気ある行動が点数につながったようです。合計点数は15点。
It's definitely going to be Ayumi and Naomi are going to be the two finale, or finalists, I should say. As long as Yuka is not in it, and also Miss Yue because they are not of age.
現在のところトップはナオミさん、そしてピンチです。シシド先生。ここでシシド先生が脱落してしまうのか、はたまたそれともとうとうラストです。最後はユカチです。はい。
Yuka nervously stepped forward.
さあ、次はサトシ君がどんな目に遭うのでしょうか。
これで最後だと思って耐えるか。
サチコさん、お願いします。
Sachiko lazily nodded and snapped her fingers. And reflexively, Satoshi tensed up, putting himself on guard. He knew whatever awaited him, it wouldn't be good. Slowly and steadily, a rope that ended in a noose lowered itself from the ceiling, draping itself around the dummy doll's neck. Oh, I feel like that would have been one for Naomi, considering like the whole thing with Seiko and the noose. I feel like that would have been a better suited one for her. The noose tightened itself, then began lifting the dummy doll into the air.
さあ、ユカチ急いで。
That's tough for Yuka because she's the shortest one.
出ないとサトシ君が苦しむよ。
For the other girls, it'd probably be quite easy. You just have to grab a chair or something and just like basically put the pressure off.
首が締め付けられてきた。
どうしよう。どうしたらいいの。下ろさなきゃ。
Yuka frantically started glancing all around the infirmary for anything she might be able to use. Don't use a bucket. If there's any bucket here, don't use it.
椅子がある。
With the chair, Yuka was able to support the dummy, but she couldn't quite undo the rope.
どうしよう。
これ使って。
Toko produced a big pair of scissors from somewhere.
これなら。
Oh, would that be also considered contraband? Is that from the room, or did Toko just have those?
ありがとうございます。でも、どうしてハサミなんか持っているんだろう。お兄ちゃん、待ってて。
Yuka climbed up on the chair, stood on her tippy toes, and stretched her arm up to the rope, which she then handily cut using Toko's scissors. That seems too easy. The dummy doll fell to the ground in a heap.
お兄ちゃん、しっかりして。
Yuka forcefully shook the dummy doll. I was like, don't shake the... don't shake a body! Satoshi's entire head looked bloodshot, and the only sound he was able to make was a throaty hiss that sounded decidedly uncomfortable.
お兄ちゃん、ちょっと待ってて。お兄ちゃん。
He didn't answer. His red eyes protruded from his skull, open but unseeing.
お兄ちゃん。
Mouth to mouth. Oh no, no. Yuka began convulsing despite herself.
そんな。確かに今までは傷を元通りにしてたけど、もし死んじゃったら生き返してくれるの。
Yuka turned to look at Sachiko, as if seeking to intuit an answer from her, and Sachiko was smiling widely back at her.
私、前に幸子ちゃんに会ってる。その時に裏切られた気がする。自分の力で助けなくちゃ。
Yuka placed the palm of her hands on Satoshi's chest. She began pushing down with all the force she could muster.
見よう見まねだけど心臓マッサージ
ゆかちゃん頑張って
She kept attempting CPR on Satoshi.
どうしよう息を吹き返さない人工呼吸どうやるんだっけ鼻をつままんだったっけ
I think you do, right?
何秒に1回とかあったよね
Oh gosh, I don't know. I took CPR class so long ago.
どうしたらいいの
Yuka began sobbing uncontrollably.
お姉ちゃん
Just then, Satoshi started coughing violently. Somehow or another, he'd come back. She's gonna get a low score on nursing. She cut the rope, but after that, did a little bit of CPR, but then just started crying. Yuka immediately threw her arms around her newly resuscitated brother.
よかったサトシよかった
The onlookers all breathed a sigh of relief as well.
麗しい兄弟愛ですね幸子さん面白かった
Sachiko snapped her fingers.
助け合いありドッキリあり見どころ満載でしたねそれでは点数をお願いしますまずは解放ポイント
Sachiko raised her sign. A 9! Alright.
いろいろ工夫して助けようとしたところが良かった協力プレイも織り込みつつハラハラさせられましたもんねさあラブラブポイントはどうでしょうか
Sachiko held up the same sign once again.
おおこれま
Oh
た
wow!
9点です
She's the front runner. What? No, that's not what I wanted.
合計18点
Okay,
ゆかちがトップ通過
that's
です
fine. She's not the winner. She's just still in the running.
そして残念ながら最下位はシシド先生次回はお休みです
悔しい
そしてトウコさんが復活
Wait,
さあ
what?
皆さん次の場所に移動です
So there always has to be 4 people? So they just swap out? Okay. So how do you determine the winner?
最終ア
Oh,
ピー
the
ルタイム
science lab. Here's another fun place.
皆さん張り切っていきましょうご主人様に尽くしますメイド対決
メイ
お掃除とかするのメイド喫茶行ってみたいああそっちのメイド幸子さんがリアルでメイドを見たいとご所望です
なんだか嫌な予感がするんだけど
Wonder if one of them will wear the same maid outfit that, oh my gosh, I forgot his name. Morishige wore. After having been chased all over creation and brought to the brink of death numerous times over, Satoshi was quite thoroughly exhausted.
あらあらご主人様がお疲れのようですよ4人のメイドがご主人様にご奉仕それでは皆さんにお着替えしてもらいますね行くよ
With a snap of her fingers, the 4 challengers suddenly found their bodies wrapped in a glowing white light.
かわいいメイドさんの登場です
うわ
Suddenly, the 4 girls were all standing before Satoshi, wearing 4 very different types of maid outfit.
まずはナオミさんいわゆるスタンダードメイドですね濃紺のワンピースに白いエプロンドレス続いてアユミーナ由緒正しきビクトリアンメイド濃紺のロングドレスが清楚ですキャルティエカチュそしてトウコ
Oh boy. Oh,
さんが
Toko.
エロいパンツが見えそうなマイクロミニとどめは猫耳
Oh, I feel bad for her.
水色と白のアリスカラーがお似合いのユカチ絵本から飛び出てきたみたいですね
Sachiko clapped her hands. She seemed to really be enjoying this.
口を開けたままのサトシくんいかがでしょうか
可愛いと思います。
ご主人様は大喜び。つかみは OK ですよ皆さん。では机の上にあるものを使ってご奉仕しちゃってください。スタート。
At Satsuki's urging, Naomi, Ayumi, Yuka, and Toko each reluctantly examined the items on the desk in the science lab. They consisted of a serving tray with a silver lid, a teapot, an ear pick, and a nice suit.
これは
どうしよう。
Flashing a sidelong glance at the other three as they stood in place, Ayumi darted forward and grabbed one of the items.
まず動いたのはアユミーナだ。
Ugh, the ear pick? Like cleaning his ears
手
out?
にし
No
たのは
thank
ス
you.
ーツ。
Ayumi took a look at the suit she'd nabbed.
スーツを選んだのはいいが、どうすればいいのか困っているようです。
Does she have to dress him?
もちろんお着替えを手伝うんですよ。
Oh boy.
着替え？
I would have grabbed the teapot. You just serve him some tea. Easy peasy.
そうですよ。まず服を脱がせて。
脱ぐのか。
Satoshi looked flustered, but he didn't see that he had much choice. He began undoing his buttons.
違います。アユミーナがやるんですよ。
Ayumi's face turned beet red.
そんなことできないよ。スーツを選んだのはあなたですよ。ほら。
Ayumi hesitantly, but after a few moments, she very slowly and gingerly reached her hand towards Satoshi.
持田くん。
ご主人様でしょ。
ご主人様。
Her face was as red as humanly possible now.
服をお召し替えください。
Ayumi slowly began to unbutton Satoshi's shirt. Her hands were shaking, but she pushed onward, and doing one after another, Naomi just tackles her.
篠崎、やっぱり俺自分でやるから。
And so he did. Without waiting for confirmation, Satoshi just yanked off the shirt from his school uniform in silence. Although he was still wearing a blue t-shirt underneath, Ayumi still averted her eyes as soon as she realized the shirt was indeed coming off.
ダメですよ。メイドさんにやってもらわないと。
いや、本当にいいって。
Before giving anyone a chance to object, he grabbed the dress shirt from the suit and hurriedly put it on.
じゃあメイドさん、ネクタイを締めてあげて。
Ayumi held the navy blue necktie in her hands. She draped it across Satoshi's neck very gingerly, or around, but that's where her movement stopped.
ネクタイってどう結ぶんだっけ？まず両端をクロスさせて輪っかを作って通すんだよね。あれ？
Ayumi tried her best to tie Satoshi's tie, but just wound up creating a square knot.
どうしよう。
Ayumi lifted her head up from what she was doing, still confused as to how to tie this thing, only to realize just how close she was to Satoshi's face. She quickly took a step back. She had been so close she could actually feel his breathing.
こんな近くで持田くんの顔見たことない。
篠崎、あとは俺がやるから。
Satoshi and Ayumi's hands touched. Ayumi, flustered, quickly withdrew hers.
ごめん。
あらあら、初々しいですね。もうそろそろいいでしょ。ほら、サトシじゃない。ご主人様。
Naomi had chosen the
お
teapot.
茶をお入れいたします。
ああ。
She set down a beaker in front of him.
これしかなかったの。ティーポットはあるのに。
Like, I'll just pour it directly down your gullet, and then it's just like super hot. Naomi poured a beaker full of steaming hot black tea from the teapot.
はい、召し上がれ。
ありがとう。
Satoshi slowly, nervously raised the beaker to his lips.
ごめん、熱すぎた。
Satoshi set down the beaker.
ほらほら、メイドさん。ふうふうですよ。ふうふう。ふうふうって何？息をかけて冷ましてあげるんですよ。アピール。
Naomi's face did what all the faces had been doing for a while now and turned red.
そんなことなんでやらなきゃいけないのよ。
Oh, Naomi's not gonna get good points on this
あ
one.
なたがメイドだからです。
Satsuki's blunt answer caused Naomi to shrink back a little.
わかったわよ。
Naomi picked up the beaker. I don't see what's so embarrassing about blowing onto some tea to cool it down. I don't know.
はい、サトシ。じゃなくて、ご主人様。
ありがとう。
Naomi was slightly taken aback by Satoshi's smile.
特別だよ、こんなの。
Naomi suddenly started spouting off some rather flippant lines. Without knowing it, she turned tsundere. Satoshi downed the entire beaker of tea.
おいしい。ほっとするよ。
それはようございました。
Satoshi found himself unable to contain himself. At the sound of Naomi speaking in such strained formalities, he let a small sputtery laugh slip. Naomi instantly followed suit.
やっぱりサトシといると楽しい。
なんか、いい匂いがするな。
お兄ちゃん、じゃなくて、ご主人様。
Yuka, wearing her Alice-colored maid outfit, was standing next to Satoshi.
ご飯です。
Yuka had chosen the silver platter. And under the lid was a steamy, delightful-looking rice omelet.
オムライス？
メイド喫茶の人気メニューですね。
そうなの？
はい、ゆかち、ケチャップでアピールして。
Yuka took out some ketchup.
おっしょ。おいしょ。おいしょ。
Yuka had drawn something on the egg using ketchup.
できたよ、お兄ちゃん。
I know it's supposed to be a heart, but it just looks like it's bleeding.
ずいぶんでっかいハートマークだな。
Satoshi was smiling despite himself. The heart on the omelet was so big it even spilled out onto the plate.
ありがとう。いただくよ。
ダメ。
ん？
ユカがやる
Yuka scooped up a small portion of the rice omelet with a spoon. She then held the spoon up to Satoshi's mouth. She's like, when it comes, I guess, to like taking care of him or serving him, she's just like, that's where I shine. I think Yuka's gonna get top marks here.
いや、それはさすがに恥ずかしいかな。
の。ふう、してあげるよ。ふう、ふう、ふう。
さすがお兄ちゃん大好きっ子ですね。すっかりこの状況を楽しんでいます。ポイント高い。
はい、ご主人様。
Satoshi forced a bitter smile, feeling he had to in response to just how hard Yuka was trying.
わかったよ。
Resigning himself to his fate, Satoshi opened his mouth and shut it down on the entire scoop.
うまい。
Yuka was so happy she started clapping.
もう一口。あ、ちょっと待って。
Yuka lowered the spoon and raised her other hand.
もう、ケチャップついてるよ。
With her finger, she wiped the ketchup from Satoshi's mouth. She then placed that finger in her own mouth, with a distinct nom. Oh no.
おいしいね。
She went, she's taking this a little bit too, yeah, a little bit too far. And Toko's like the only, like, she's the outsider being like, this is really weird.
あらあら、他人事じゃないですよ、トーコさん。さ、どうぞ、トーコメイドの番ですよ。エロくしてください。
She gets the ear thing, isn't? Toko crumpled her face with disdain. Last of the party once more, she'd begrudgingly taken the ear pick.
なんで耳かきしか残ってないのよ。だいたい
She just like jams it in his ear.
秋葉原や池袋では有名なメイドアイテムなんですが、知りませんか？
知らないわよ。とにかく耳かきすればいいんでしょ。
Toko flashed Satoshi a frighteningly intense look.
ほら、こっち来て。
ご主人様になんて口の利き方だ。
Maybe he's into forceful maids.
うるさいなもう。
Satoshi very hesitantly and begrudgingly sat down in a chair next to
こ
Toko.
れでいいかな。
じゃあ行くわよ。
Toko raised the pick to Satoshi's ear and was just about to jam it in when Satsuki called out to her.
やり方が間違っている。
はあ？
ひざまくだでしょ。
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
なんで膝枕なんてしなきゃいけないのよ。
メイドだから。ほらほらやるの。
わかったわよ。
Although obviously not comfortable with this, Toko slowly sat on the floor with her knees out.
はい。どうぞ。
ほ
ほら早く。
Toko slapped her thighs as if to say right here, but the act came across a bit more violently due to her obvious irritation.
早くって言われても、これって生足に頬が密着することになるわけだよな。
Toko seemed to realize the same thing after a few moments.
ハンカチ敷くから大丈夫よ。
はい。
Satoshi obediently, almost automatically placed his head on Toko. I love how he's just like planking. He looks so stiff and uncomfortable.
わあ、柔らかい。それに、あったかい。
行くわよ。
Satoshi instantly shuddered at the sensation of a foreign body being inserted into his ear.
動かないで。
はい。
強気なメイドも悪くないですね。終了です。
Satsuki rang a bell to indicate the maid competition was over.
はい、皆さんお疲れ様でした。しばし休憩の後、最終発表に入ります。サトシ君は誰を選ぶか考えておいてくださいね。
As soon as Satsuki and Sachiko exited the room, almost everyone immediately plopped into a chair.
あー疲れた。ようやく終わるのね。
My chance, she happened to glance over to Yumi.
前から気になってたんだけど、委員長ってもしかしてサトシのこと？ユイ先生も怪しいのよね。風の看病って何があったんだろう。ゆかちゃんもお兄ちゃん子だと思ってたけど、なんだかそれ以上のものを感じるし。あのトウコってことはどこで知り合ったんだろう。
Lazily, her weary gaze drifted over to Satoshi. She stared at him for a while as if trying to unravel his mysteries.
皆様、会場の準備が整ったので移動します。
Everyone who'd previously been warped to Classroom 1A gathered in the assembly hall.
皆さん、お疲れ様です。
Satoshi and the others had all changed back into their regular school uniforms and all plopped down into chairs with a collective sigh of relief.
いよいよ優勝者の発表ですが、その前にお待ちかねの商品の発表です。サトシくんから贈られるのはなんとサトシくんのキスです。
Alright, so it's exactly what they all thought.
やっぱりキスか。なんだ、キャットタワーじゃないんだ。
She's got her priorities in order.
キスか。
Each envisioning a different result in her head, the girls all waited patiently for the one true winner to be announced.
ではハーレムキングことサトシくんに優勝者を一人選んでもらいます。記念すべき第1回天神小学校ハーレムスクールデイズラブラブ大作戦の優勝者は
Satoshi opened his mouth knowing that whatever came out of it next could have dire consequences. Oh shit. Oh shit, okay. Okay, hold on. I kind of want to pick all of them because I feel like all of these could be potential wrong ends. I feel like the best answer would be you can't pick just one because you wouldn't want to like single anybody out. Like don't pick anybody I think would hurt people's feelings, but you can't pick just one would just be like... But I feel like these two are definitely the bad ends. And this one too, maybe. So I'm just gonna go through all of them.
さつきちゃんに任せるよ。 いや、だって選べないよ。
じゃあ私が選んじゃっていいんですね。よし。
She's like, me! This did not sit well with the girls, who started to murmur
あ
restlessly.
の子が選ぶの？
さつきちゃん、私を選んでくれないか
誰にしよっかな。
Satsuki was looking over the choices and seemed to be having a grand old time. She noted the tense expression on each and every one of their faces.
決めた。発表しまーす。優勝者は水原さつきでーす。
Yep, I knew it.
いやー、審査を振り返ってみて一番輝いていた女の子ってどう考えても私なんですよね。そういうわけで商品いただきます。
Upon saying this, Satsuki planted a big smooch on Satoshi's cheek.
うわ
サトシ君からキスしてもらうんだった。
Satsuki smacked herself in the head while sticking out her tongue to indicate silly me sort of sentiment.
間違えちゃった。
ちょっと、なんなのよ。今まで必死でやってきたことが無駄だったってこと？
さつきちゃん、ひどいよ。あ、ごめんね、ゆかち。ゆかちの大好きなお兄ちゃんにキスしちゃった。楽しかった。幸子さん、ありがとう。手伝ってくれてありがとう。面白かったよ。じゃあ私そろそろ帰ろうかな。見たいテレビがあるんだ。
Satsuki waved her hand excitedly as she left the room. And she's like, and also fuck you guys, I get to go home, you don't. And Sachiko just kept smiling.
みんなはもっと文化祭を楽しんでね。
Or wait, is this gonna end the chapter? Okay, it was the wrong end. I was like, what? Okay, I am very excited to see what happens if he picks Sachiko.
俺は幸子を選ぶよ。
サチコ？なんで？お兄ちゃ
みんな本当に頑張ってくれてありがとう。でもだからこそ一人なんて選べない。なら俺は今日が誕生日の幸子を選ぶ。この催し物自体。
Well, even his decision is pretty wholesome.
そう言われると。
Maybe this was the right choice? Did I stumble on the right choice here?
では優勝者はサチコさんに決定。
It seems like the way to do it is just to always pick Sachiko.
では早速商品のキスをお願いします。
Oh, but you just gotta think like her. Kissing a dead ghost girl. Sachiko excitedly ran over to Satoshi, and when she reached him, she leaped up and threw her arms around him.
ありがとう。サチコの
Oh
誕生
my
日をお祝
gosh,
い
this
して
might have
くれ
been the
て。
right thing to do.
ああ、幸子、誕生日おめでとう。
みんなの前でキスされるのって恥ずかしいから、どこでもいいかな。
Sachiko was fidgeting, very clearly feeling a bit shy.
しょうがないな。じゃあ行こうか。
どうなのこれ？ありといえばあり？相手子供だしキスにはカウントされないや。
Yuka's like, I'm a child. Well, not as much of a child as I think she is. She's not 7. It means he's a creeper. I love Toko. She just says it straight up. Time passed, and then, uh-oh. Okay, not the right choice. Not the right choice. Okay, we finally got a little bit of a violent ending.
今の悲鳴って持田くん？
お兄ちゃん。
何があったの？
Sachiko returned to the classroom.
プレゼントもらっちゃった。
Is she gonna be like, I got his heart?
キスじゃなくて
Or a kidney?
肝にしてもらった。キーのつくプレゼントだから。
Oh my gosh. Sachiko, grinning wildly, proudly showed the assembled girls the lump of red dripping flesh she held in her hand. It looked as if she had just been it had just been removed mere moments earlier, still steaming with the heat from inside Satoshi's body.
ハーレム
Yes, we finally got like a true bad end. Alright, don't pick anyone. Myself? Okay. What?
ずっと考えていたんだ。この戦いの中、俺は誰のことが一番
Oh
好
my
きなの
god,
か。
is me. This is so
誰のこ
unlike
とが一番大
Satoshi.
切なのか。そしてようやく答えにたどり着いた。俺が
This is amazing.
好きだ。
Satoshi's proud proclamation rang out confidently.
サトシ持田くん大丈夫？
お兄ち
A strange glimmer began forming in Satoshi's eyes.
いけない。あまりのストレスとプレッシャーに精神に異常をきたしているわ。無理もないわ。校舎中を追いかけ回され、その後何度も想像を絶する苦痛と恐怖を繰り返したんだから。
俺はこの世界の王だ。
なんかすごいテンション上がってきてるよ。
いや、銀河帝国の皇帝だ。
Oh my gosh, it's
これが
amazing.
後に銀河系第三宇宙帝国を統一する男、持田聡の覚醒の瞬間だった。
You know, Satoshi's he's kept himself in control for quite a while in Heavenly Host. It would stand to reason at some point he would snap.
ああ、自分で覚醒の瞬間だったとか言ってるよ。
お兄ちゃんが
持田くんがそんな。
That was amazing. Quite the mood whiplash from like literally getting his kidney torn out to he just had a mental break and declares himself Emperor of the Milky Way. Interesting. Alright, and now time to pick what I assumed was the actual right thing you were supposed to pick. You can't pick just one.
一人なんて選べない。みんなすごく頑張ってくれたから、みんなが優勝者だよ。
優勝者を決めてもらわないと困るんですけど。
これハーレムものじゃないの？
え？
女の子みんなに愛されるのがハーレムだろ。だったら一人を選ばなくてもいいんじゃないか？
There you go, using the trope against them.
幸子さん、どうなんですかね。別にいいよ。じゃあみんなにキスして。
え？
みんなが優勝だから、みんなに商品を渡して。
Satoshi stood up, intending to run, but he was promptly glomped by his little sister.
ゆか、頑張ったよ。
Yuka was looking up at Satoshi, eyes glistening with tears.
ご褒美欲しいな。
ちょっと、ゆかちゃんだけずるい。あ、別にキスしてほしいってわけじゃないから。でもやっぱり公平を期すためには全員に。そう
そうね。あ、ほっぺたとか額ならいいんじゃないかしら。
早く帰れるんだったら何でもいい。
All the girls began sliding up to Satoshi.
私も混ざる。
The girls all jumped onto Satoshi at once.
ラブコメラブコメ。ハーレムハーレム。
Sachiko had set up a camera. And that shot was to become her most treasured memory of this glorious day. There we go, sweet. So I managed to finish the whole episode all in pretty much one go. We're doing well for time. I think we're halfway through, right? There's 8 chapters? Alright, so that will do it for episode 5 and the chapter 4 finished. So let me see, how are we doing here? Oh, holy cow, yeah, so I'm halfway through. So continue on like this, should be able to finish this up in a decently, you know, short amount of time, although of course I will be doing my all wrong end compilation like I always do with the Corpse Party games. But that was a fun little chapter. And thankfully we got at least one, like, really grisly bad end out of it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and stay tuned next week for part 6. Until then, bye. Special shoutouts to my top tier patrons: Kaori Makoto, Revealing Storm, Jared Fan, Tequila Mockingbird, Izzy Ibo, Joel Oostman, Asborn Kennedy, Harry Gazif, Icognito, Locus Corollas, Wusing Chrysalis, and Zoran Ether.